Yes, hello.
Yeah,
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I hope you all can see my screen.
yes,
Okay, so let me start. Good afternoon, Professor and fellow members. And actually, I am thrilled to present our Capstone project titled Threat Categorization based on malware, command and control communication using archive PK files. So today, I will take you on a journey through the development of this cutting-edge threat categorization engine and demonstrate how it can aid organization in staying ahead of malicious binaries actors who only talk in binaries language. So before we begin, I would like to express our gratitude to Professor Dr. Sandeep sir. Yes, for assisting us in selecting the project ideas, because during our first meeting with Dr. Sandeep sir, we presented him with 3 ideas and he helped us choose this project as our top priority for implementation. So thank you, Sandeep sir, for your support. For moving to the next slides, as a tradition of ritual, I'm using the word ritual for every presentation and to break the ice. Let me outline the coming slides into different segment. In plain English, it's agenda. I hope Nirad will not mind that because I'm using his word, plain English. So with touch of humor, so grab your popcorn. Sorry, we are not in movie theater, watching IPL. So grab coffee, tea, juice, whatever you can find for drink. It's a lunchtime, I think, in India. So even you can grab food, but make sure that you have switch off your cameras. So let's get started. First, we'll introduce our team and the people behind this project who have helped pull the strings. Then we'll move on to the problem statement where my partner Sriram will walk through why he proposed this idea as Capstone project. And after that, under put your best work on the display, we will answer the why with how and what by presenting the architecture flow diagram, working of each component together, and a live demo of the final product of this Capstone project. Moving on to the next segment, picture abhi baki hai mere dost. We will showcase what we have done so far to allow our Capstone project to grow organically so that we don't need to get involved so much into that. Let the community contribute and grow it organically. And of course, in the next segment, if time permitting, we will present our future vision to take this Capstone project or product to the next level. Finally, we'll have interrogation segment as usual. I mean question and answer session, where we can answer any question you may have about our Capstone project. So moving to the next slides, the team. So allow me to introduce the team behind our Capstone project. First, there is me, Mohammed Javed, with the photo that was taken before I embarked on this CSCD program. As Sandeep sir mentioned during the starting of this program, that it's going to be very intensive program. Yes, that's true. And then we have the one and only Mr. Sriram P as trusty contributor, who contributed his valuable skill and ideas to make his project a success. And he just supported me throughout this project to get this done into a product. And of course, we cannot forget our mentors, Professor Anand Handa and Mr. Nitish Kumar sir, who pushed us to orbit around our goals so that we are not deviating from our goals. And I'm pretty sure that they had to use rocket fuel to keep up with us. Yeah, because time to time we used to get review from them, and they used to reply it immediately, either with the thumbs up or good luck or best of luck or go ahead, something like that. But in all seriousness, we are grateful for their guidance and time, which helped us turn our idea from inception into a reality. So moving to the next slide. So without further ado or talking too much here and there, let's dive into the nitty-gritty details of Capstone project, starting with the problem statement. And to do that, I will pass the baton to my partner, Sriram. Over to you, Sriram.
Thank you. Thanks, Javed, for the great introduction. And again, just reiterating from what Javed said, thanks to the professor for giving us this opportunity to present in front of you all, and to both of us, to both of our mentors, Nitish, Mr. Nitish and Professor Anand Handa, sir. So thank you for this. So I'll jump into the problem statement. So here what I'm doing is, what we are trying to solve is, we have seen a lot of presentations in the past, or you have seen a lot of other presentations in the past, like the biggest threat to the industry is all the data that comes into or goes out of the system are going to be via the networks, and it needs to be monitored, and it needs to be monitored at scale. So the problem we are trying to solve here is check all the PCAPs, but on a scale where it can be um, extrapolated or exaggerated via a cloud, containers actually. So currently there are not much solution which are built over the containers. So our solution is, the strong point of our solution is to build around the containers. So that's the first thing, is to read each and every packet that goes via the wire and make sure that they are done at scale using the cloud computing or the cloud container. So that's the main idea of the whole problem that we're trying to solve. So keeping it very short, I'm giving it back to Javed for the next topic. Over to you, Javed.
Thank you, Sriram. So let's move on to our next segment. Put your best work on the display. This is where we will answer the question of how and what to our previous segment, which Sriram has already presented about the why we have choose this Capstone project. So to answer this question is simple: ArkThor. This is the product name which came up after this Capstone project. So it is the full product of this Capstone project that's provide value to our customer and ready to use with just single command. I mean, just a single command. And we will know much details through upcoming slides. The name ArkThor represents safety, protection, strength, and power all in one package. I'm telling the truth. You will see it with your own eyes. So let me take you on a journey to the early days of our project. But before that, we wanted to make it as a product. So we tried our best to make it product. So to the early days, moving to the next slides, the project core idea. During our initial meeting with our mentor, Professor Anand sir, we discussed the project scope and challenges. With limited resources, he challenged us to deliver a presentable product. To achieve this, we introduced a layer architecture for ArkThor, which is showed over here. Layer architect, which is platform independent, scalable, and easy to deploy. The 3-layer architecture of ArkThor are built using microservices and open source technology stacks, which allow it to run on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and it is worth mentioning it is completely conceptualized and developed by ArkThor team. So ArkThor top layer, which you can see it over here, we call it as a presentation layer, which is a UI layer, which enables user to interact with systems. The UI layer is built on ASP.NET Core 7.0, which is providing the cross platform, which can use on Windows as well as on Linux. Bootstrap, admin LTE for the UI theme, language C#, JavaScript, we have used it. To show the country's flag, we have used the open source, that the tabular. JavaScript we have used. And then we have a middle layer over here, which is comprises of APIs. We have RabbitMQ and for the communication, and SQLite for the database storage. Finally, we have the core layer analyzes the PK files and provide result to the layer above for the further processing. And the core is the heart of this product, of this project, which has been built using the Python, a few of the other open source technology like Escape, ThreadFox, and we have used internal database for the core also, the very lightweight database, that's a SQLite, and another open source that's the rule engine. A rule engine over here, which Sriram will in coming slides will talk more about it. But we consider this as a solution. Like organization don't buy a product, they buy solution to their problem, and this is our motto while developing this product. So moving to the next slides, we'll take a closer look at how the layer of ArkThor fit together, the 3 different layers which I showed in the previous diagram. So this is our UI layer, which is a dashboard also. So the UI layer provides in the end user with a comprehensive set of information, enabling them to gain valuable insight into the threat categorization result. The user interface layer directly interact with the user, transmitting uploaded information to the layer immediately below, which is API layer, for further processing. The user interface layer also retrieve information from the API layer present into the presents it to the end user in both visual and textual formats. So currently, the UI layer, which we have over here, consists of the features such as dashboard, analysis information, analysis record, statistics, its measurements, and the live tracking, which we call is ArkThor board, which is similar to a Kanban board, which we can display on the bigger screen. Then moving to the next layer, the APIs layer. The APIs layer developed using, which I mentioned, that ASP.NET Core and C# purely allow the receipt of storage of PK files and provide functionality such as uploading JSON file results from the core, creating file record. By leveraging these APIs, user can easily integrate ArkThor into their workflow. So we have implemented in such a way that if you don't want to use the UI, if you have any third-party application or anything, you can easily integrate with the APIs, and you can go ahead and you can use it, our product, without using the UI or anything else. And with the APIs, you can have your own automation suites, you can have command line, whatever you can use it with the using the APIs. So next, we have a core layer of ArkThor. And for that, along with that, the APIs, we have the database, a SQLite, to store the APIs, store the results, as well as the PK file information, because we are treating all the PK file as an asset in our ArkThor product. Then we have drop location, where we are dropping all the files and everything. We'll talk much about that. RabbitMQ, as I mentioned, we are using it as a message broker to communicate from between top layer to the core layer on the core part. So next, we have a core layer, as I mentioned. That's for that, I would like to invite Sriram to shed some light on this critical component, which is the heart of ArkThor. Go ahead, Sriram.
You please unmute.
Oh, sure.
Sriram.
Yeah. I did unmute. Thank you. So I'm sharing my screen now.
No,
Okay.
no, not now, not now.
Sorry, I missed that part.
Not now, just talk about the core part.
Sure, yeah, go ahead. You can share back your screen, sorry.
Okay, did I miss that?
Thanks, Javed. So to give a quick brief introduction of what the core components contain, there are three main components that build up to the core. The one is the module that works on the PCAP files, which is basically the Python script, like how Javed mentioned. It is around the SCAPI module. The reason why we use SCAPI is because SCAPI helps us to run the PCAP, run the iterations over the PCAP in both the stream mode and packet mode. So you can even go into each and every sessions and you can monitor them. So that's one advantage which SCAPI gives. So that's why we use SCAPI. And then the next is the engine rule extraction engine, where the every individual rules are being processed and being compiled. And the next one is the parser module, where it validates each and every rule that we write is correct, syntactically correct. And then data. So those are the three main components that each and every module does. And parser is based on an open source rule parser engine. So that's the parser module. And all these components are made of open source GNU GPL v2 licenses. So it's really purely built over the open source. So what the fourth module, which is the watcher, does is it makes sure that if there's any file that comes into the drop location, the SCAPI is picked up. It also loads the engine and then it runs through the engine. So all these the main component is being covered by the watcher subscriber engine. So that's how the whole architecture of the core is. And once the data is processed, it's then return back to the to the database with SQL via the REST API, and then it is presented to the UI via the UI.dashboard. So from here, it's back to you, Javed.
Okay, thanks, Sriram. So it's worth mentioning. I think Sriram already mentioned that's the all movable component of ArkThor have been containerized, so make it easier to deploy it and scale the product. So all the component of ArkThor is containerized completely, and you have to just run the Docker Compose, and you have an ArkThor product running in your organization, in your laptop, in your Linux, wherever you want, you can use it. Moving to the next, the complete workflow, end-to-end workflow to understand from this architect diagram to connect the dot. So user, they are having the archive PK file, they will upload on the dashboard. As soon as you will upload on the dashboard, the UI layer will verify whether you are uploading the PK file or some other file. Based on the signature, it will check the load. It will check the size of the PK files. We have a condition for that, signature, and whether you have a valid PK file or not. And if the validation is correctly, then it will pass on to the API. The API will just grab that in JSON format, and it will push that information on the database, SQLite, as well as it will recreate the PK file on the drop location. And as I mentioned, we are using the RabbitMQ as a message broker. So it will grab the SAR256 of that particular PK file, and it will put into the RabbitMQ so that the watcher, which is part of the core component over here. So the watcher will keep looking the RabbitMQ. So as soon as there is a message in the RabbitMQ that there is a new PK file available for code to process that, so it will grab the SAR256 of that from the queue, and it will go to the drop location, and it will pick that particular file. With the 4, the watcher will grab that. Then the watcher will grab that file from the drop location, the same file. And good point over here using RabbitMQ is that we can have a multiple core running as an agent over here. And we have a RabbitMQ which is communicating between the API layer and the core part about that. So we can have multiple instances of core to checking the queues for any new messages. And then the watcher will hand over to the Scapy. And then over to Sriram, if you want to add something.
So it then each and every file has been built via Scapy, and the Scapy will load the PCAP in both stream mode and the packet mode, and it runs the loaded data in via the parser, and then that data, whatever is being parsed, and if there's any rule detections that we see currently, it goes and stores them back to the specific ArkThor API. So there's an API to the backend also, like how we have a front-end focused API. Javed has also built a backend focused API where all these data will be posted back to the API server, and the data and the results are stored in the API server itself.
Okay, thank you, Sriram. So the core will analyze all the file and everything. The core will generate the results, the thread categorization result and everything in the JSON format. And then from the core, it will get uploaded into the API. APIs will grab that, the results in the JSON format, and will put into the database. And the API, which is keep looking, UI, which is keep looking the APIs asking for do you have this result? Do you have this result? So APIs will go into the database, whether I have that result or not. If there is a results available or any status change or anything, it will give it to the UI for the end user. It will get displayed to the end user to understand. So this is the simple workflow. The complete, we call it as a happy path. This is the happy path of the ArkThor. Connecting all the dots and everything, the result will get displayed to the UI. And as I mentioned, that's right now we are using the archive PK file, but we have kept the option open so that if anybody wants to use the live streaming or anything for that, they can use our APIs to just grab the live network streaming, and they can feed into the APIs, and the APIs will pass into the core. The core will do the processing and everything. It will give it back to the dashboard. This was the short kind of a workflow, but we have a much more details information about each layer and their working available. on the GitHub. It is open for everybody. So if anybody is interested into looking into the more details and everything, they can go ahead and they can grab that PDF file over there. They can know about that. So, okay, enough with the talking. It's time to showcase the real product. So we'll have the front engine demo, which is consist of UI and API. Then we'll move into the core part. So we'll start with the UI. I hope you can see my screen. Sriram, I am visible, right? Okay. So right now, as I said, that's the it's completely Dockerized and everything. So if any organization, anybody wants to view that, they have to just grab the Docker compose file, which is displayed over here on this screen. So what you have to do that, Docker simple compose -f, Docker compose file, f -t, and you have ArkThor product running in your system. So if you see, we have ArkThor API, RabbitMQ, ArkThor core, and then we have a UI over here. So running over here. So if I go to the container part, which is visible. So if you see the container, just now I restarted it. Few minutes back, we have API, we have RabbitMQ, we have core, we have the UI part over here. And to showcase the product, how it's going to look for that. So for that, I would like to mention that the ArkThor is already available for the public view on the and deployed on the Azure portal. So this is the final product, UI and APIs over here. So if you go to the arkthor.azurewebsite.net, it's running available for the public view. You can we can view that on the top of the UI. We are showing that how many file is in the queue, how many file has been submitted for the analyzing, how many file has been analyzed and thread correlation. And then below we have the upload option where you can upload your PK file from your system to analyze it. And below we are showing the top 10 records with the different information, everything like SAR56 of the file name, when it was uploaded, the status. If you see few of 10 has been canceled due to the various reason, then few of them is in the done with the thread categories as a backport. Then one is in the queue waiting for the core to pick that. And then one of the file is in the progress. Just for the demo purpose, I put that in the progress over here, and then a few other things and over here. And from here, if you want to look into the more details, where is the much more details information which will get displayed over here. Okay. Oh, okay, so finally the result has been displayed. So if I go one of the particular files to analyze the more information, what has been written from the core. So on the top, you will see the CSCD is done. It means core has already analyzed the file. The thread type is ICE ID. The thread severity is 9 for the people. Then SAR 256 of the file. Who submitted that file? It was Sriram who was submitted. When it was uploaded, it was on 14th of February. It was submitted and it was analyzed on 2nd of April when we were testing that application. Then you can download the PK file from here. If you click over here, then you can see the file has been downloaded over here. As I mentioned, we are treating all the PK file as a asset. Might be in the future, we want to look into that, or we want to go back and look which PK file we have uploaded. Then we'll have a JSON file. If there is any results coming from them, then you will see the JSON file over here. Then we have that similar categories of the thread. If there is a similar, we want to look into the database, whether there is any other file, PK files, which is having ICE ID over there. So we will see it from here. Then we are mentioning about the Mitra attack technique, which was used by the attacker. So we are displaying that technique number also, which is coming from the core, and what was the file displayed over here. That interesting part over here is that we are displaying how the communication happened from the attacker to the target, which all server was involved, how it was involved in everything. This part is just not yet implemented into the core, but we are thinking about implementing so that you can get the end-to-end workflow, how which all server has been used, how the proxy has been used from attacker to target. And if you see over here, we are displaying the the affected countries from the PK file. So it was Brazil, India, and Austria with the flags and the country name, and how the communication happened, end-to-end communication happened in the command and control we are displaying over here. Apart from that, if I go into the thread traces, so you will see right now in our database, we have only one file, which is having thread category as ICE ID. So it is displaying only one ID. Apart from that, if you want to see the history within the time frame, we can see all the history and everything over here. You can filter it with the time frame and everything, and it would fetch all the results and everything. I'm running on the public cloud. Over here, you can see each and everything over here. Then along with that, we have statistics also. We are showing the data in that. Within the time frame, you can see that the thread type distribution over here, which all thread type distribution, then file analyze rate. What is we can say the performance of the core, how much percentage the core is analyzing. Right now, it's 78% it's analyzing. Then infected countries, you will see all the graph and everything. So far, 2 file was analyzed, and the Austria is on the 2. The country name appear in the two PK file. Same communication countries. Then you have a file status distribution. File status, we are saying 56% uploaded file has been completed, 11% is in progress, and so on over here. Apart from that, the interesting thing is that if any organization is having a bigger screen and they want to have to display each and everything on the hallway and somewhere in the security room or anywhere, then we have included the ArkThor board over here also, where you will see the status of each and everything over here. If it is in progress, then you will see the cog is happening. If it has been already analyzed and done, then you will see the ribbon over there with the red and the green. It's already done over here. And then below, we are showing all the various component status of the various component, like connector, it's online, RabbitMQ is right now offline, escape is online, extractor is online, validator and everything. It's a single pane where you can get much details about each and everything over here. And to mention, on ice on the cake, we have a contact us page over here also. So where you can see our mentor with the team, he has worked on this one. And then we have subscribable, because our future planning is that we might, if it is materialized and we wanted to continue, actually we already put it on a GitHub, then we'll have a weekly threat categorization executive report for the higher up in the organization, or anybody, if they want to subscribe, they can subscribe it and everything. And then moving into Sriram, we are running out of time. So do you want to say something about the code? Do you want to show something? Or should I continue?
Sure, I'll try to keep it short because I've spoken more about the SCAPI, so I'll just try to keep it short.
Yes, please. You can take you can share your screen.
So yes, so the core component, which is the SCAPI, can be run as both standalone mode or from the container mode. So they just go with the configs. So if you want to make sure that you want to use in the ArkThor configuration, just give the API, the base URL location, and then they just get consumed. And it also shows which folder to watch for. If it's in a container, you can give the container location here. But since I'm going to showcase a quick demo on the local location, is going to be through the local file location. So I'll just go into the file, and there are totally 3 different components that I have built. One is there are a lot of IPs which Javed mentioned. So it's going to be via the IP to ASN code. So where if I run the IP to ASN, it's going to make sure that it downloads the latest files from the MaxMind database, which is basically an open source database, and it stores it as an SQLite DB. And this can be made to run every 4 hours. So all I do is just download the file from this ip2asn.com location, which is refreshed every hour. I take every 4 hours, and you can also schedule it to be an every hour. So all these data get stored into a local SQLite DB, which is ip2asn.sqlite. So now since I've run it, you can see the file has now been generated, and it's still running. So let it complete. Okay, I'll keep it short also by the time. So the file has been generated now, and so the second support files are the ArkThor rules. So there are basically two things that are needed for us to complete the cycles. One is the rules, and one is the IP to ASN to get to the exact locations of which IP to which country, or which ASN to which country. So those mappings are really important. So just quickly take over the next part, which is the rules part, where I run an open source project called Rules Engine. So here it is going to be the consumer for the rules engine. So I'm just telling that, okay, there's a rule that's going to be for POCbot. And if the domain contains so and so, or if the domain's answer contains an IP address with the regex, and the similar one for another domain and another domain. If day3 contains, I'll just connect them to whichever MITRE techniques that I wanted to also highlight on the UI. So all those comes from the rule and the techniques. So I'm just highlighting here DNS rules currently. So it's going to be mostly DNS, which I wanted to get an answer for. So that's how I do it. Once I do that, I just go ahead and make sure that I go and run the rules. So now you can say that, okay, this is going to be a problem because I need to write rules for each and every component that I see. But what I have also done is I have created another open source rules engine authoring where ArkThor rules authoring engine, where what you can do is you can just, if you have a URL, for example, this is a converter that I have written for ThreadFox. So if you just go to ThreadFox, you can see all these MISP data being displayed on the UI. So it's going to be something like this. Yeah, it's going to be something like this. This is the UI that's going to have all the PCAPs for you, or all the JSONs for you, all the DNS informations for you. So what I've done is I've written a small converter which will take all these JSON files and convert them into an ARK file. So if I run that using this command line, you can just give the rules, the URL, and the file in which you want to create, and it automatically creates you all the ARK files for you. So in the interest of time, I'm just showing you the existing ones. So you can see the rule name. What is the rule name it has seen? The domain, what all I just showed you the same one. So what are the MITRE techniques associated with it which are available? I just print them into the rules, and these gets consumed in the UI. So that's how they have connected. And then finally, what I do is I'll run the PyCap SCAPI engine so that it parses the existing rules, and it makes sure that there are any rules seen in it, and then it will, I mean, any detection seen it, and then it'll highlight it, and then it'll submit the data back to the UI. So these are all the processing that happens at the back end. And let me wait for the finish to happen quickly. Yeah, so the results are generated for this file. So there are two files that are subfiles of this. One is the detection file, which is basically, it shows which in every packet, each and every query, DNS query that has happened. I'm just passing DNS queries here alone. So that's why in the interest of time, it's going to be only the DNS queries. And all these can be used in your ML or any other further algorithms you want to implement. So you're just not limited to only writing your own rules. You can write your own ML rules also here. So that's the second part. And then the overall ARK file. So this is the file that will be aggregated and submitted to the backend so that you can you can see that visually at the backend. So the whole aggregation happens, and then you can say that, okay, this is a threat which is like a MITRE or infected, whichever countries got infected, the C2 countries, the average of the MITRE that have that detected, and the SHA-2 of the PCAP, right? All these comes into the picture. So that's how the overall data is being aggregated, detected, and sent to the backend. So that's it from me. Back to you, Javed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so being an user from an organization, do I need to worry about all these things, the core part, the complexity and everything? No, you don't need to worry about that. So what you have to do, either you can automate it using the API, or you can come over here, upload your PK file, let's say, and put it over here. And what will happen internally, it will analyze all the file and everything. You will see this is done, and then this file has been queued. Just now I uploaded it. It has been queued, and then it will get processed. So you will see it's in progress right now. So core is processing this file and everything. Meanwhile, it's processing. Let me go through the API. So as I mentioned, it is exposed. So you can see all the APIs and everything. So we have multiple APIs already exposed related to file record. Then we have upload, like you can upload output JSON file, which used by the core. And then you can use it to upload analysis files, support files, and you can get a support file and everything. Then get by has created. There are multiple post, put, and then get methods already available for the user to use it. So over here, if I refresh this one, then you will see it's done, backboard. The analysis has been done few minutes back. And if I go into the results, then I will see all the results and everything. We have a JSON file also, which already Sriram showed in his demo. So this is the final JSON file. Then we have C2C detection over here. I'm displaying the result. So it will take you to the Mitra attack over there. Oh my God. Okay, and then we have all the intermediate file and then everything over here. So next main thing is to how we can make it grow organically. We already made it publicly on the GitHub. It's already available on the GitHub for the public to go, for the people to go grab that file, use it, put your contribution. You can go ahead and you can take it forward, add your comments, feedback. And if you have anything to take it forward, we'd be happy to take it forward and everything. And that's how we manage this product. It means that's how we are able to do that. Since the beginning, we have started using the GitHub to maintain all our code, so that I'm sitting in Austria, he is sitting in Bangalore. That's how we are able to pull all these things, all the dots and everything together. Then we were maintaining all the issues, and over here, whatever issue I see they have to improve it. It means Sriram has to improve. I used to log as a ticket over here as a issue, and then he used to do that. And then we are communicating, we are doing everything. That's okay. He needs to add this one. Then there was other thing on my plate. Apart from that, we enable the DevOps pipeline end to end. If you see over here, this is the Docker image API, which is pushing into the Docker Hub, the core UI, and then we have continuous integration, which is running. If you see over here, just a few minutes back, the README file has been changed by me 2 days ago. It means, sorry, 2 days ago. And all the images and everything is available on the core UI. So if you go over here, it is available for the public to use it. ArkThor core APIs and UI. If I go into the UI, the Docker Hub registry, you will see you have a latest one. There is a one public view, which is running on the Azure cloud, which is without the core part. And then the latest, you can grab the latest and everything. So moving into our slides, we are done with the demo. The segment picture abhi baki hai mere dost, which I already discussed about the GitHub and everything, how we can display that. Actually, this project is not only a Capstone project, but also a collaborative achievement. If I see this was a collaborative achievement of the CSD course between me and Sriram, all the other colleagues, professor, our mentor, and everything. And we aim to promote the organic growth of this project. I'm emphasizing on the organic growth to open source principle and community contribution. So that's why we made it public after the consultation and discussing with the Professor Anand Handa sir. We made it publicly. Previously, it was on the private between me and Sriram. Then we made it publicly available, so people can go and contribute it. And then we have a public version also available running on Azure cloud. So moving into the next segment, we are running out of time, but we have a few other things. The best is yet to come. We have a feature vision also, so that we can take this one to the next level. We have something on the core APIs and UI. I will just escape this part, but there is lots of things over here which we want to improve it. Like we want to add it machine learning AI on the core part and API UI part. We want to add an executive summary on the result summary. You will get the executive summary so that you will get in one single pane, you would be able to see all the in and out and then everything which already showed, but you want to generate at the executive summary. The next is obviously we are building it.
The PDF also, right? You have the PDF also. You have quickly show the summary, final PDF summary which you finish.
Okay, no, I'm talking. I was talking about the more into the part, but yeah, it's worth mentioning that's on this one you will get the PDF format also. If you want to download as a PDF, you just click it over here. We have integrated lots of functionality and everything. You will see the PDF functionality over here. So it's generated into PDF. You can share it through the email, and whatever you want, you can do that. You can print it. You can discuss it. We have provided that functionality also. So now we are done with this product. So ArkThor. So next is integration question and answers. If there is anything, we are happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Very good work. So we can have very quick questions, maybe 2 minutes.
So very impressive. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your feedback, sir. It really matters to us.
Yeah. So yeah.
One thing, this Mitre one you are bringing, right? So that you have to add, or automatically you have a plugin that brings from there.
So currently, if it is based on the existing the core extraction
Rule.
URLs, it will bring it automatically. Otherwise, you have also the flexibility to add your own. So you can take it manual currently for now. Yes. Manual.
So in your tool that it brings automatically, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's coming from the core part. The core is giving to the UI APIs, and API is displaying everything.
Exactly.
Okay. Nice.
Very nice. I hope
Yeah.
this grows and you can get something out of this. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's what we are thinking. That's after adding this one, might be we'll have a pro version of this one where we can have a license.
Yeah. So Javed, so obviously
Yes.
it's a very good work, and you did a lot of contribution after a lot of discussions that have happened. So the ML part, and there are other things which we have to add as a plugin. So we'll talk
Yes.
about that, and it's like wonderful that you like commendable job. Congratulations and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next
Sir,
one
Sandeep, sir.
is
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry to disturb. I have one question. I hope
Yeah.
you will not mind it. Is there going to be a quiz today as well?
No, there will be no quiz.
Okay, thank you so much.